things about relationships. I already mentioned that the purpose of life is to find and remove the obstacles to love that exist within us. What about soulmates? Do we have soulmates? You are your own soulmate. This is about the most important love is your unconditional love for yourself. I'm talking about that non-judgmental, unconditional acceptance. Because what happens is you are whole in your masculine and feminine aspect. Everybody has both, whether you're male or female. I do a lot of work with gays and lesbians. Sexual preference is totally a function of which is your dominant spin field of your consciousness. And it changes throughout life. So if I hold my hand up like this, I can tell sexual preference by the amount of energy hitting the two sides. Again, no judgment, not good or bad. It's just that it's not about gender, although men are from Mars, meaning more left-brained, women are from Venus. So what happens is there tends to be a stereotypical consciousness pattern. But why is that changing so much today? It's because we right now are in the springtime of soul growth. Souls are growing so fast, and so many people are so close to being balanced within themselves that the days of the emotional feminine female and the masculine logical male are out the window. Because everyone is moving towards the center and finding wholeness within themselves, and they are growing. That's the reason why the divorce rate has been so high in the last 50, 60 years. Because we truly are in the springtime of soul growth. So I talked about law of attraction number 1, which is what? We are attracted towards individuals whose personality is similar to someone with whom we have unresolved conflict. Well, here's what happens. You have this strong attraction. And again, the bigger the unresolved conflict, the stronger the attraction, and you come closer and closer and closer. And it's irresistible. And all of a sudden you get to the point of intimacy. And you are so comfortable with this person that you are now comfortable enough to reach inside and bring up your unresolved conflict and project it onto that person as a surrogate, and you hate them and you have no idea why. For people who run from relationships, you're only going to repeat it again. Create some distance. Here's the pattern that I see all the time. From the feminine standpoint, the men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Men are from Mars. What that means is, I don't feel love. I use my intellectual checklist. Well, she still does this, she still does this, she still does this, so she loves me. Where she's over here, I don't know if I can do these things anymore. The feeling is gone. It's not there. And she still goes through these things and through them, and he's thinking, well, I don't have a problem. It's her. It's because she's feeling the emptiness of the relationship. Finally, after putting up with this for a long period of time and not feeling love, she makes the decision, I'm out of here. Guess what? The logical aspect of consciousness of the man from Mars does not recognize the feeling of love by its presence, but it recognizes the pain of its absence. The severe heartache, the anxiety, the logical aspect of consciousness recognizes the emptiness when the other person pulls away. So all of a sudden that checklist is overridden by the emotional pain of that person pulling away. But she's already made the decision. I'm out of here. This is long enough. No, I'm out of here. What should happen if you want the relationship is, if you see there's problems in there, create a little bit of distance. Create the distance. And number one, stop doing all those things that you are expected to do to be on the checklist. Create some distance. Once you create the distance within the relationship, what you'll find out is that now you can heal and you can work within the relationship to both grow. Because if you run from the relationship, you will only run to find another one with a person that's like that. I had worked years ago with quite a few women who got into physically abusive relationships. And this one woman came to me and she said, I don't know what's going on. She said, it's like I'm addicted to him. He has beat me 4 times that I've been hospitalized and I can't leave him. So I work with her. I don't talk about her relationship at all. I don't talk about what's going on in the day-to-day. I went all the way back here in her childhood, found the perceptual programming event that ironically involved her father when she was young. We healed that wound. And the next day, she calls me up. Something's wrong. She said, I have no affection, no desire to be with him anymore. It's just gone. I said, that's because you don't need a surrogate to resolve a problem that's already resolved. So what that means is that when you're in your relationships and you're starting to feel the discomfort, one of the most important things is as you create that distance, hold on to the feeling and say, when did I feel this before? When I was out in Arizona last year and I did a workshop, and I was working with mothers who had lost children, various death. And one young woman came up, and her 15-year-old son had been killed in a car accident 2 years prior. Couldn't work anymore. She was a professional, a medical professional, couldn't work anymore. When I stepped into the memory 2 years prior, it felt like somebody jabbed a pencil right down in the side of my heart. It hurt so much. I stepped out of it and I walked back here and it's like, back here's the same exact feeling in my heart. And I looked at her and I said, what happened when you were 7 years old involving your father? She said, my father abandoned the family when I was 7 and I never ever saw my father after I was 7 years old. Guess what? That was the wound. That was the perceptual programming event. She was applying that to her 15-year-old son who was killed in a car accident, and she couldn't figure out why she couldn't get over the grieving process.